guys, I'm Chez Pride and welcome back to another Sims 4 news video. And in this video, I want to talk about the trailer and all the news about the Sims 4 Royalty and Legacy expansion pack to come out since my video last week when it was first officially announced. From watching the first gameplay trailer and breaking it down to pulling up articles with even more information to go through, we are going to cover it all. And then at the end, I want to go over the laundry list for next week's patch, which isn't a huge laundry list, but I thought it'd be a nice way to sum up the video. But there's a lot to cover, so it's probably going to be a bit long of a video. So let's sit back and dive in, starting with watching the trailer. So first, if you haven't seen it or want to watch it again, we're going to watch it together. Then I'm going to mute it and we're going to go back through it and talk about it. So I tried to set it at a volume that wouldn't blow your ears off, but I'm sorry if you do have to adjust the volume. But let's go ahead and watch this trailer.
Alright, here's the tea. Royal life. It's not just palaces and crowns. It's choices. Big ones, small ones, messy ones. The kind that decide whether you're loved or totally loathed. So let's get into it. Nobility is an active career anyone can chase. Well, once they're old enough. So, what's the deal? How does one go from a noble newcomer to a leader of a kingdom? Perform your duties, make the right moves, and you'll move up the ranks faster than a princess can fall down a set of bleachers. And what rewards do you get for all that royal grind? Only the best strip, regal traits, and of course, the crown. Obsessed! But the real prize is the favor of the people. Your choices change how the kingdom sees you. Example, while holding court, a fellow noble raises a concern that someone keeps blocking their mailbox. The highest of offenses. Do you favor the royalty and punish the offenders? Or side with the commoner and let it slide? You're not gonna please everyone, so host an extravagant ball! I mean, who doesn't love a party? Throwing a successful event is one way to increase your noble rank, as is loyal service to your people and fulfilling the duties expected of you. Very respectable. Noble, lead by example. Love it. Just kidding. Bring on the drama! Take Exhibit A, the damp disgrace. Perhaps a certain incident about a certain noble gives you the opportunity to extort them. Got a rival blocking you from advancement? Challenge that dirty llama to a duel! Win, and they'll step down a level, and that title is yours for the taking. Maybe after you've honed your skill first? Yikes! Ooh! Better yet, let the winds of fate decide the future for you. Power shifts are dramatic turns that alter who rules, who falls, and your favor between commoners and royals. But not all fairy tales end happily ever after. That frog prince kiss could be your ticket to the good life. Or a wart-filled scandal leading to a very awkward press conference and your abdication of the throne. Hey, it can happen to anyone. It's only a matter of time. If it's not kissing frogs, it's a sabotaged cuckoo clock. Which is why you should have a promise to inherit and ensure many years of family rule. Or just move on and start fresh instead. I mean, with so many worlds to make your kingdom, there's no right way to rule. Why not make the unexpected choice and see what happens?
So after watching that trailer, my very first thought was, well, one, it was actually surprisingly well put together. I feel like it definitely actually clarified some things that wasn't super clear in the trailer and the article that they gave us on launch date. But at the same time, and this may seem a little bit critical, but I wish they had used a different narrator. Like, I really wish that they had given the narrator an accent. Like, they just sounded so American, and I feel like the inspiration from this pack, or really the multiple inspirations from this pack, because we have like Africa and the UK and all different types of things kind of inspiring to make this world. I feel like they could at least just chose one accent from the places that this world is based off of. I don't know. I feel like it was a missed opportunity. Like, especially if this is supposed to quote be the last big expansion pack. Like, really, you had to go and Americanize it a little bit. But I don't know. Like I said, that may be me just being way too critical. But like I said, I felt like it was well put together, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that we saw in this trailer we kind of already knew about. But like I said, I feel like it clarified it a little bit. I just feel like we didn't really get any new information, which I was a little sad about when I watched it. But like I said, I am glad it clarified things a little bit. Now, obviously, we knew the name of the pack, Royalty and Legacies, and that is coming out February 12th, and we have the kits and the free digital content before March 15th. I'm not talking about that in this video. We did that in last video. But they did announce at the end of this that on January 29th, which by the time I get this edit and post it, is honestly probably going to be tomorrow for you guys, because it ended up, we had a huge ice storm this weekend, and it lined up with my monthly, so I was just like, oh, cold, sleep. So I didn't get this video recorded this weekend. Well, I also had an event this weekend, so that didn't help. By the time I get this video edited, this trailer will probably be coming out tomorrow, and I'll be putting out a video on it in the next day or two. But we have a Dynasty gameplay trailer, which is just I'm assuming, talking about the different dynasties that are in the game, like the royal family, or specifically go over how the kingdom and the royalty dynasty stuff is going to work. I'm not exactly sure which, or it could be both, but we're getting another gameplay trailer, which I'm actually pretty excited about because I want even more detail. And yes, this is the land grabs. I love the fact that it's land grabs, and we have Johnny Zest here just like pouting in the corner. Great. And we'll get to why that's great later. But like I said, I want to kind of just like talk about what's going on in the trailer. Now, we didn't really get any new information like article wise when it came to this trailer coming out. We basically still have this article that we already went over in my last video that covers a lot of this information, but I just feel like this clarifies it a little bit better. Maybe it's because I'm like a visual and audio learner. Like, I have to have the visual and the audio to like really click, and I was just like reading the description while having just like this really short trailer, so maybe that's why it's more clear to me. But I feel like this clarifies a little bit. But we do have some information to go over afterwards that has to do with the pack. It's just they didn't put out a article with this trailer, which I thought was really weird because normally they put out articles explaining stuff, but I guess that there wasn't really too much more to be explained. But pretty much we go through here, and like I said, I did mute it. And first of all, this architecture, though, is absolutely beautiful, but we'll go through and point new things out in a little bit. So first, it starts off by talking about the choices you get to make when you're royal. So it kind of pretty much tells us that depending on the choices you make, you'll either favor in the commoners or you can favor in the royals. One of the things is, like here, you can set the kingdom's taxes to very high all the way down to very low. Obviously, if you did it very high, you'd be approved with the royals. Very low, you'd be approved with the commoners, and makes sense. But they're pretty much is saying it's not all about the fame, the glory, the title, the crown. It is about making choices so you can, hold court and have the commoners come to you with their problems, and they'll tell you their problems, or you can, be nice to them. Or you could just be totally evil and have them hate you. Either way, it's kind of your story to tell. But pretty much from here, they kind of show off some of the outfits that are for all ages, some of the different hairstyles here, especially this new hairstyle. But they're pretty much saying anyone can be in the noble career and work their way up to the king or queen once they're a teenager. Now, this isn't the only way to get the royal title, but this is like the most honorable way, I feel like, and the one that's going to make you work and play gameplay the most. But we will go through those different ways to earn the title as well. Now, obviously, if you are born into a royal family, you can just be promised the title. You don't have to actually work for it. And pretty much, like, if you come into the career in a different way than just starting at level 1, you come in at like level 9, or sometimes if you're going straight to king queen, level 10, because you have to be level 10 to be the king or queen. But the way that this career works is a little bit different, because it's like not like you're getting promoted automatically. Like, you get eligible for a promotion and then you can choose whether you want to be promoted or not, so you can decide which title your heir has. At the same time, there's only going to be able to be one king or queen per kingdom. So if you try to have 2 in a kingdom, it's not going to work. If you get promoted to the kingdom, or you promote someone else to be the king or queen, or just the ruler in general, then the current one steps down to level 9. Or also, if they move out of the kingdom, then they also step down. So that's some of the information that we got so far. And then if we go here, you can see that the first career is called a noble newcomer. And then the end level of the career is called the kingdom leader. I don't know if your crown, like, I'm assuming your crown like automatically generates, but I'm assuming we're also gonna have some crowns and create a sim. But it's showing off a lot of the different African style culture stuff here, and it's just talking about how you have to perform your duties. So it's kind of like you'll have job tasks, but it's just stuff you have to do yourself. And then, like, as you do those job tasks, you'll get eligible for a promotion if you want it. You can bestow knighthood. I'm assuming you could probably bestow you bestow knighthood, you promise royalty, and then when you step down, you do that. But like I said, there are other ways to become royal, which we'll get to those in a second. But you can bestow royalty. Also, I think I'm going to be obsessed with this dress. This dress is gorgeous, and this crown, I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, but we have the sword, and then it's just talking about the different benefits you can get as you're going through the career. Obviously, the main being the crown and the title, but you also have, I believe these are kind of like traits you can get, reward traits. So you can be a regal romancer and woo your way into the crown if you do the career. You can also have the blue blood, which I guess I thought these are different things you can, they're called regal traits. So I don't know if you have to be in the career, or I'm assuming you would have to be in the career to get that. Maybe, I don't know. That I'm still a little clear about. But there's regal traits that will help you like get your way into the kingdoms. They have the regal romancer, and then blue blood, which obviously you're like the descendant. And then we have here them talking about the kingdom leader. So let me turn off the captions. Okay, so you can see here that it's a scale. So you have your performance, which is going to go up either way, but you can either be on the commoner side or not be on the commoner side. I'm assuming this is the commoner because they have regular hat, and see it's like negative, and then if it's positive, they'd be more on their side, right side. And also, doesn't this look like Bella Goth? Like, I feel like this is like the queen version of Bella Goth with like a different nose. I don't know, but I love it. And then here they show them holding court. So it says, my neighbor keeps parking their bike in front of my mailbox. I demand a retribution now. Maybe just ask them to move it next time. Unacceptable. The bike will be removed immediately. And then obviously, if you chose the second one, you'd be favoring them and you get more favors on the commoners. But if you did this and be like, you could just move it, you're gonna get stuff on the royal side. So it's really where you want to go with it. And as you can see, you're granted on the royal side. And also this dress, I'm also obsessed with this dress. But if you want to change the influence, you can also hold a ball, which I think will give props to like both sides, but also drama can start at these balls with the different scandals and whatnot. But you can see here they're having a nice little ball event. There's dancing. Obviously it's on a dance floor, but we'll see how well it works. We have the throne, and then we have welcoming speeches, so you can do welcoming speeches and whatnot. But you can also start drama if you don't want to be a type of king and queen. So this is kind of showing the different things you can do to be good and get on either the commoners or the royal good side. But also you can just provoke pure chaos as well. It's really your story to tell. So you have scandals. So like, oh my god, this hair is gorgeous. But this girl saw someone that's a noble peeing themselves. Also, this is like where if you get caught cheating or something like that, then your scandal will be like spread. So basically this kid comes and tells your sim, and then you have the choice to either hold that information or use it against them to blackmail them and get money from them and ruin their reputation. So that's a fun way. And then also you can duel. So dueling is a big part of this expansion pack, and you can duel someone for their title. Now, I don't know if that goes up to royalty. I know it goes up to like get you up in the ranks. You can like duel someone and be like, I want to take your rank. If they're like the next rank above you and they're like blocking you from hitting that rank. I don't know if you can duel for the crown. I feel like you can, but it's not really clarified. But this is some of the sword fighting and some of the new outfits for the males. I actually really like the males' headwear. I think it looks really nice on them. Then we have the practice dummy, which I'm really excited about. And this is some Excalibur, which is hilarious. Now, Excalibur from the Sword in the Stone. It has a little plum bob on it. I just think the sword is so pretty. Like, I literally think it's just a gorgeous sword. Of course, I am just obsessed with that story in general, so I may be a little biased there. Also, this new hair that kind of gives like Jasmine vibes, I'm all about. And then we have the crystal slipper. So apparently there's like a crystal slipper that's related to like a ball story. You can tell, obviously telling like the Cinderella story. And then they start talking about other gameplay features such as the different trial, well as the enchanted mirror. So apparently you have kind of like Snow White, Evil's Queen enchanted mirror. I don't think this can get you to royalty until the future, quote unquote, somehow. So I'm interested to see how that works. It's not an object you can place down. It is an object just in the world. And then we have the other way you can possibly get royalty, which is the noble frog. So obviously like Princess and Frog vibes. And being someone who grew up on Disney as well as Grimm Brothers stories, I'm really obsessed with the different details and the different like storytell features. I don't know, I just really like it. But the noble frog is tricky because if you get caught kissing the noble frog, you can then go ahead and get some of your reputation ruined through the scandals, but also it could be your ticket to fame because you could kiss the right frog and marry a prince. So there's a couple ways to come in it romantically, which is kind of fun to me. I'm also obsessed with this hair, but you can be a dame to court. I don't know if this only works if you're in the career or if anyone can do it. I'm not quite clear on that. Also, these hairstyles are very interesting, but I'm loving the outfits. Like, the outfits are really nice. Like this dress, gorgeous. Also, just obsessed with this crown. I really hope this crown and this hair is separate because every time I've seen this hair, I've seen this crown on it. And I'm really hoping the crowns are separate from the hairstyles. Here's another look at that beautiful hair. But here you have the commoners coming to you and begging for you to put down your crown because apparently the scandal went wrong and she had to give up her title. Again, that's why I'm confused if it's only in the royalty career, because if you do the royalty career, it's the only way you'd have the crown to put down. But what happens if you do it and you're not in the royalty career? I don't know. But here we have the cuckoo death clock, or the cuckoo clock death. There we go. But it's a little anticlimactic. I don't know what I was expecting, but I like it. It's just a little anticlimactic. I like that it leaves like marks on her face too. That's funny. But then you can also be, like I said, promised the title. Now, he obviously rejected, but you have to like gain their favor. Now, if you're in a household with them, like they're like your grandpa or something, it may be easier. But I think you can also, if you're not in the family, be promised, like just win them over, maybe like seduce them or whatnot. They were talking about the seduce trait earlier. But then here showing the Kingdom of Andoria. Okay, so this is what I'm a little confused about. I felt like last time we talked about this, they're like, oh, there's a ruler for each neighborhood, but then the kingdom only has one true ruler. I thought that meant like there was a ruler above that, because they were just like, it stays clear. But no, you have to like select one person, and it can't be like per neighborhood. So it's a little confusing because they call each one of these neighborhoods a kingdom. But when we go into the information we're going to talk about in a little bit, they go on to explain that kingdom really means world. So even though there's 3 royal families, you have to choose which one you want, and then you can have noble rivals and whatnot, and it can have power shifts. You can choose who's in charge. You can go through gameplay and choose who's in charge, but you can assign one ruler for each quote-unquote kingdom, so each world. So you can have like a Willow Creek ruler, you can have a Windenburg ruler, you can have a Sulani ruler, you know, it's all of that, and this is showing here. So you have to like select the person, and it shows their noble decree and whatnot, and you can edit the kingdom's titles here with this little button. And as you can see, it goes through for each world. So we have Innisgreen, so we have a fairy queen and whatnot. There you go, see, fairy queen. And then, you know, you have the different types you can do. I love that they do like a Windenburg like DJ. I think that's hilarious. But here we go, and we have the land grabs as we saw before. So that's pretty exciting. That's pretty much everything the trailer shows. Like I said, I will go back through it in a little bit and just like point out all the new things that I haven't talked about yet, like hairs and whatnot. But right quick, I want to go over what information they did give us near when this trailer came out. Not the same day of, but a couple of days after. They actually went on Discord and answered a bunch of questions. So even though we didn't get an article with this, because it pretty much covered what we were talking about in the last video, we did get some Q&A answers, and Sims community went through and typed them all out on their website, and I went through and screenshotted them because the Sims community website is full of ads. I hate being on there during videos, so I just went through and screenshotted some, not all, but some of the questions. I felt like some of them repeated themselves, so I tried to cut some of those out. Some of them still slightly repeat, but they bring on a different point, and they're kind of in a random order. But I have went ahead and got all of them here in this folder, so I have them pulled up for us to look at. And like I said, they're kind of in a random order, but this is the order that they were listed in, and it just kind of clarifies some things. I already brought up some of these points, but I felt like they would be good to go through. And like I said, I didn't do all of the questions, but there's still a good many to go through. So the very first question that was asked was actually about the noble frog, and it says, how does kissing a noble frog get you dictated? So it says, kissing too many noble frogs can cause a scandal for your sim. That scandal can lead to trouble in your noble career or dynasty prestige. Okay, so it's not just the career, it's the prestige as well, because the dynasty prestige is different than the career. Okay, other sims can also exhort your sim to abdicate if they know your secret. So obviously they can, bribe you for money and whatnot. Then the next one I thought was actually a really interesting question. Some of these I would have honestly not thought to ask, but it says, will you be able to create custom crowns using crystal creations? Is basically what it's asking, which is saying no, but you can make custom titles in the world map, but you cannot create your own tiaras and crown through there. I'm assuming there will probably be some in Create a Sim, but I'm assuming if you're going through the career, you'll probably get different crowns, is how I'm assuming it'll work. And then the next question is the guy with red hair on the thumbnail supposed to be a tie-up cat? And that is correct. So these next two screenshots actually go together, and it looks a little bit more confusing than it actually is. Basically, it's 4 questions kind of rounded into one summed up answer. So the questions are, how much will monarchs earn? Do they actually get the tax money as part of their income or whole income? And then the next question is, will they be exempted from bills or lot taxes, especially when it comes to like get famous vaults and whatnot. And then it says, can the same monarch rule multiple kingdoms, so dynasties intermarry their child and inherit multiple kingdoms? And then we also have, will there be cross-path compatibility with Get Famous regarding reputation of fame? And then it says, will there be specific headwear? And by that, will it mean there be circled around the head, or is it just on the head? So basically they're asking if it fits. So it says, to address some of your questions, as the Sims climbs the noble career, they will earn a quite generous amount, but raising and lowering taxes affects a noble's favor, and all the kingdom's taxes will do support cross gameplay with Get Famous as you progress through the Sims career with fame. I don't know why they didn't answer the headwear question, but they answered everything else. So there's that. I feel like by what we've seen, the crowns fit pretty good to at least the hairstyles that we have in the pack. I don't know about other hairstyles. And then we have just an answer here. I didn't put the question, but it says, unless your Sims is inherited the title from a family member, your Sims will have to quit their job to join the noble career. So basically, from what I understand, if you inherit the throne, then you have to like give up your job and get level 10 to the career. So it's basically like an upgrade to the career. So if you like have a low level job, that actually would be beneficial. If you've worked all the way up to level 10 career, that kind of sucks, but it's because it's part of a career. So even if you're getting the title in other ways, you automatically get put into level 10 of the career. And then it says, is there a limit on kingdoms, like one neighborhood or one world? And it says one kingdom is one world, which was confusing in the first article, like I said, because there's supposed to be 3 royal families. Only one of them actually rules. And then we have a long question. It says, does your sim have to ascend their role, or can they just stay in the nobility role? Can one sim of one family be multiple kingdoms, or does it have to be one per sim family? Can royal sims live in a regular life as a hold regular job and not live in a palace or royalty their whole job title tied to them? Can a cult sim take the royal title like aliens? And if we have animal packs, can we designate royal animals? Sim can stay in the noble career as long as they like. However, they can't promise their inheritance to a child or spouse who can leave the career at the same level when your sim decides to leave. And it doesn't answer about the royal animals. I'm assuming no, but I feel like the occults can take, because they showed the fairy queen in the trailer. So that kind of answers those questions. And then the next question says, is there a limit at how many sims can hold a certain level in the nobility career? Each kingdom only have one king, queen / monarch. So that means there's a limit to one sim that can be level 10 of the noble career, but not the other levels. And then it says, as one sim can only rule at a time, any other level 9 noble career can become a noble rival. So you have to be level 10 to rule, and only one person can be level 10. But if you're at level 9, you can have a rival that you fight for the crown for, which is pretty exciting. And then here, I'm not going to read this question, but pretty much it's saying that with the update that we're getting before the pack, that they are updating the family trees and dynasties to the base game sims, and pretty much they will be putting Johnny as officially Jeffrey and Nancy's son, because they basically left him out of the family, which that's kind of being a part of this pack as well. You can throw someone out of the royal family, so it makes sense they would add that into the update before that for the land grabs. I don't know, I love that lore drop. And then it says, are there any traits like blue blood trait that can be inherited? If they can be inherited, maybe tied to a scandal or a legit hair. Although we don't have another trait you can inherit, you can earn the real romance in the career, which unlocks seduce. Okay, so that is something you earn through a career. I was right. And then it says, do we get more point for siding with commoners? Favor tracks whether your noble sim are aligning with the royals or commoners. The game doesn't make a judgment call on which is better. Both options have benefits and cons. So it's saying you can either be a fan of the royals or the commoners, or they can be a fan of you. And then it says, what happens if the king moves out of the world? If a monarch moves out of the world, we will demote them by 1 level so they don't end up with 2 monarchs in the same world. It says, is there gender neutral titles available? And yes, and you can also customize the noble's title to be whatever you want. So super happy about that. And then it says, if my sim is a level 10 Reaper career and his daughter wants to be the queen, does that make him any of their family royals, or is it tied to the household only? The families do inherit titles, but only if the children and spouses. So in example, the father would not receive a title. And it says, how would this pack work with other packs? Which I feel like we've kind of touched this, but it says cross-pass functionality. Any residential world can be a kingdom, so you can have a fairy queen or a vampire queen if you want. Also, the dynasty system takes into account skills, careers, activities from all the packs. So as you rise through the noble career, your fame will grow with like get famous and whatnot. We have a long question. It says, can you make sure that someone is not progressing through the nobility when played and just stay at their title? That also has already been answered, but pretty much yes, you can pretty much keep them at whatever career level you want. Like, you are eligible to get a promotion after doing so many tasks, but you have the choice to stay at the same level. And then, will royals be able to make sweeping decrees for their neighborhood, similar to the convolutionist career that impacts your entire save file? Decrees will indeed affect your whole kingdom and will stay active even if you switch households in the world. And then, how does nobility differ from the regular fame and reputation long term? And the noble career doesn't replace fame or reputation, rather works with the systems. The higher you progress through the noble career, the more famous your sim will become. And then we have, how is the cuckoo clock death work in practice? As a part of the secret passageways, which the secret passageways basically you can set up a passageway from like one house to another, or a certain lot or a certain place in the world, and go, I'm assuming, into a loading screen, and it loads you there. But it says, as a part of the secret passageway, there's an option to tamper with the cuckoo clock, which could cause deadly consequences. So you have to like tamper with it before it'll kill you, which is interesting. And then it says, will there be new traits and aspirations? We have some reward traits for the career: real romancer, formal, noble hustler, and blue bud. So those are the 3. There's other from the packs too. And then it says, does this apply to never played sims? Will your sims never have rivals unless you make them rivals? And it says the noble rivals can appear randomly as the sim progresses through the career and they reach level 9. The current level 10 will always be their rival. And then it says, would other base game families be updated with their own dynasties? Because, you know, they're talking about the land grabs and whatnot. So the Goth and land grabs will have their own dynasty in the new save file. So only a new save file, so it's still pretty exciting. Then it says, can only nobility go and be invited to balls? Can commoners attend? Anyone can attend the balls. So if you can't be a noble until you're old enough to join career, does that mean no young prince or princess? It says toddlers and kids can inherit the title from their parents even if they aren't old enough to join the career. Then it says, just rehashing, can you opt out of the certain worlds having a monarchy, or will they all have one automatically? Well, all the worlds apart from vacation worlds have kingdom managers. As long as there are no nobles in the world, you don't have to play with the nobility feature. So apparently, if you have a queen, you're just gonna have to play with it in that world, but you can turn off the nobility features or assign them. Is there a system kind of like privy to the King's Council like we have in the Commonwealth realms, but also is there prime ministerial option? All noble sims are chosen or are able to choose a noble advisor. Your noble advisor will show royals and commoners when your sim holds court. And then they ask about the royal events, and there's court and press conferences, and then like I said, we have the balls as well. And that is actually the last question. So that was was quite a few questions. I felt like it gave a lot of good answers in a couple of things that weren't super clear. So now I just want to go through, and before we actually talk about the other articles and information we got, I just want to go through and see what is new that we can spot out in the background. I really like doing this with trailers just because it kind of just like breaks down so obviously you have new fences, new building structures, like all of this building stuff is new. The statue's new. I mean, the landscaping I'm pretty sure isn't new, but other than that, most of this is new. But really what I'm wanting to look at is the hair and the outfits. So we have this crown here, this dress I'm obsessed with. I've seen it a couple of times in this trailer. I really like these spirally columns. I think that's really nice, especially with the curtains. And then, let's see, I think that's a base game mirror, but that's definitely, is that a new dress? It looks like a dress we already have. Maybe that looks like the City Living dress we have. We have a new dresser, a new vanity, which I really like. And then we have some more casual clothing here. Then we have this person being crowned, so we have a couple of new crowns. Pretty sure most of these outfits are new. I really like this dress. That's a really cute dress. This is also a really cute dress. I'm loving the African references. This is a new hair too. Hold on, go back. I wanted to look at this hair. This hair looks really nice. This is also a new hair. This is a new hair. This is lots of new hairs. Here's the throne. And then we have a look at the world a little bit. I really like the world. And then we have some African styled pieces. We have some more formal pieces. We also have a knight, like a fancy woman knight. I don't know. I like it. I like it. And then basically like the same outfit just for all the different ages here. So you can see it throughout the different ages. You can also see that new hairstyle for the sim from child and up. Also, though, the pool looks really nice in the background with the trees there. I really like it. Alright, but as you can see, he grows older, grows facial hair, becomes more fancy. Not a big fan of this vest, but maybe it'll grow on me. And then we have the king's outfit. This almost looks like a really fancy like hotel. I don't know, but let's go ahead. And this is new hair. This is a new headpiece. This is a new dress. This is a new wall piece, new curtain, new chair, new art pieces, new chairs here. Very nice. We have some new chairs here, new art pieces. I'm feeling we're going to get a lot of build mode stuff, which I'm happy about. I'm also really obsessed with the swords they have in this pack. I think the swords are really nice. Here's some new outfits as well. I have to be careful when I'm saying it's new outfit because there are base game outfits in this trailer. This is definitely a new outfit though. I am obsessed with this outfit. I love the dress, the crown, the necklace, all of it. Except the puffy sleeves. But I feel like a lot of the dresses are going to have puffy sleeves. Again, up close at that sword. Also, we have a new book with a sword through it, which is fun. A new globe. Oh, this is fun. I'm going to have a bunch of fun with the decor in this game. Then we have like a more modern outfit, which is kind of weird to me, but they're trying to modernize it a little bit. Pretty sure that's a new hair, maybe? We have that new dress, these new crowns. Like I said, the crowns look like they fit most of the hairstyles. I don't know. That was clipping a little bit, but I can't tell if it's meant to or not. Again, this girl looks like Bella Goth to me. Like, I feel like there's gotta be some, like, backstory there. I feel like she can't look this much like Bella Goth and not somehow be related. We have a new crown and the new dress. Very pretty. I'm liking that a lot of the new hairstyle have, like, gray streak options. Like, the roots are gray here. This outfit is cute. I've seen it a few times. All of these are new outfits. Even this lady in the back. I keep seeing this tree. I feel like this is new, but I don't know if we'll get it in build mode or if it's just a world item, which I'm obsessed with. Also, this hair is really pretty. But we have this, and it talks about the noble kingdom leader. We've seen all this. Okay, so here they're talking about the court. Look at this mirror. Or no, that's not a mirror. That's a painting. That's a pretty painting. It looks like a mirror though. And here's some of those new outfits again. I'm obsessed with this hair and this hair. Those are my two favorite hairs for the adult females so far. What we have. I really like this outfit too. Like, I've seen quite a few versions of this outfit. I think it's really nice. Move on. Okay, this dress I'm obsessed with. I pointed that out earlier. This is a new headpiece. New outfit, new outfit. Not sure if that's a new outfit, but all of these are new outfits. Let's see. This hair is new too with this crown. Alright, but we do that. I'm really obsessed with this hair. This is the second time they've shown the dress, and it has a matching suit for the men's. I'm guessing that is a new dress. That I can't tell this. I feel like is that a new bar or is that a base game bar? I know those. I think those are base game curtains. The stairs are definitely new. We have carpeted stairs. That is so nice. I didn't notice that before. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is a new outfit set. I've seen it in all the ages and gingers. We have a piano playing at the ball. Come back to that crown. With the silver and diamonds with the purple amethyst. That's gorgeous. And that dress is really pretty too. This dress is also really fancy. I think these are separate gloves because I've seen these gloves with a couple of dresses now. But I really like the dancing, like the put together dancing where they all dance at once. I hope that doesn't glitch out. New wall piece. I think these are new like open windows, which are really nice. These are new curtains. We have a bunch of new thrones. I like that the thrones have like little places for your feet. I think that's so cute. New headpiece as well. A lot of new headpieces. Then we have this curved balcony. They're really nice, but the windows and doors are what I'm looking at. I really like the windows and door. This brick is really nice as well. Look at this sword. This is Excalibur. I think it's really nice. I really like the plumb bob on the end of it. This is like a very Don Lothario outfit as well. Then let's go ahead. We have some more new crowns. Lots of new crowns. I feel like we're going to get a bunch of those. This dress is really nice. I really like this dress. Also, the sleepwear is really nice. We have some more royal looking sleepwear. New dining chair set, new outfit, new railing. Pretty sure there's going to be a fountain in the world. I love the draping flowers too. And I talked about this hair earlier, but I'm obsessed with this hair. New outfit as well. And then I think these are supposed to kind of go together. Like these patterns tend to blend together. And it looks like there's a lot of like all age outfits. So like a lot of outfits that have patterns that go through all the ages and gender. What I really like, especially since it's supposed to be a legacy based expansion pack. Then we have them talking about scandals, new outfits, new doors. I can't decide if those are new bracelets or not, but we have some of the new swords. I'm assuming you can collect somehow and display. I feel like those are new arches. I feel like those have to be. Pretty sure those suits are new. I really like the practice dummy too, and all the new statues are really nice. I like that they put the sword through the foot. Here's that Excalibur again. And the crystal shoe. I'm really obsessed with the stairs. Okay, it looks like there's a new wishing well too that you can somehow interact with. Maybe that's what they were talking about here. Annals Trials is the wishing well. That's what I was trying to figure out earlier. And also this dress is very nice. I'm obsessed with the sim in general. Her hair, her crown, her dress. And we have this crown is sitting a little bit higher on top of the head than I would like. Maybe not all the crowns fit perfectly. All right. But I pointed out all those dresses earlier. These dresses are really nice. Like all these like slightly more modern dresses. I don't know. I really like it, but I'm obsessed with the royal dresses more so. Here's another throne. We have quite a few type of thrones. And a lot of crystal chandeliers as well. New tapestry, the cuckoo clock, new bookcase. Ooh, new carpet for sure. Can't tell if that's a rug or a carpet. Looks like we have a new bed as well, a new single tile bed, which I feel is a new dresser, new desk. Very excited about those. And all of this is obviously like other pack stuff, so no reason to go through that. So that is the actual trailer and most of the information we got, but there were a couple of articles and posts that I thought touched on some more specific things that I thought we could go over, starting with the world. So first, we actually got a new map view at the world that shows how many lots there are and what sizes there are. And I am actually very impressed with this world, you guys. Like, this is giving like the closest to Windenburg we've gotten in a very long time. But because if you count the units, there's like, I think 17 lots on this world. In the last like 4 to 5 years, we haven't gotten a world more than with like 14 lots. And Windenburg has 18 because that's like our most lots. So I don't know. I'm really excited about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots here. 1, 2, 3, 4 lots here with 2 units. So it's like 2 homes on the same lot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 here with also 2 units. So basically 6, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they all have 6. And then you can also see that new icon for the new lot type, because I feel like the royals can just live in a regular household. I don't think there's gonna be like castles. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but there is a new lot type that's like combined lot types that you can make a lot be like one thing in the day and a separate thing at night. Very interesting concept. And then we have the actual neighborhoods of Ondorion, which is the new neighborhood. So we have Bellacord. It says, cast your opulence and elegance in Bellacord. Everything romance, beautiful, and crazy expensive. With long history rooted in chivalry and courted dreams, there's no better place to savor up every aspect to the elite lifestyle. Just don't get carried away and end up doing something scandalous. Gossip is sharp and travels fast here, and in Bellacord there is not greater than a tainted image. And then we have Fierdamar. So fierce and untamed, just like its people. Vladimir is a place of bold contact, rowdy pirates, and educated nobles that have both called it home throughout the history. This may seem like an odd clash from outside. In its truth, it's peaceful marriage of cultures. Indeed, it's without pirates and ancestors. Noble to this day is a place for adventurous and outcasts where strong and savvies earn the most respect. Indeed, it is almost impossible to find a noble family without a pirate ancestor here, is what that line I messed up was. My bad. Okay, we have Dambleby. So known for its vibrant streets, communal spaces, and strong traditions of painting and crafting, Dambleby is a warm and welcoming place. Don't be missed by its no fruits and extreme wealthy neighborhood. They just don't like to flaunt it here. After all, the greatest Dambleby tradition is for everyone in its community to share with each other. So all very different vibes. And then we don't really have a map. We literally have a whole article talking about the different creators for the lots. So there's designing 11 creator lots for Ondorion and Royalty Legacy. Apparently, a lot of these lots were created by other people, which has been a thing in most expansion packs. Is normally always a really good thing when they bring in builders. So this time they have went ahead and paired with Plumbob Kingdom, Eva Roddy, Emerald Stories, and Studio Gabrielle, which I've actually heard of Plumbob Kingdom and Emerald Stories. And as far as Plumbob Kingdom goes, he built Apparatus Estate as well as the Renaissance Road in Lebanon. And they go on to talk about the person itself as well as their inspiration from what they pulled, and they tried to, with having a fashion background and a love for decoration, alternate and art. His builds are rich and detailed and layered inspiration from antique decor and vintage finds, drawing dark academia, Victorian classic rustic influence. He wants it to feel dramatic and lived in. So the Sims team asks, one of the design challenges for the Renaissance Road, which I'm assuming is this, was balance an exterior fix of Bellacourt's luxury with more modest interior. How did you approach that contrast? There's a lot that was quite challenging. I'm used to building on large lots and having to bring out a lot of my ideas together and congregate them into smaller spaces really pushed me out of my comfort zone. On top of that, there was contrast between opulent elements and more humble ones. In the end, we conveyed the idea that more affluent pieces where Jeanette's belongings brought her or her family home to rejoin Romeo and gradually build her dynasty. And then it says, on Levinas, what is such a gorgeous social space? How do her social elements were at the center of the design? The first thing that comes to mind is when I thought about this lot was classic ideas often seen in films, with dance floor surrounding layouts right in front of it, grand the ball. For exterior agriculture, I aim to build something characteristic with the electric style, a combination of Renaissance, classical, noble, and barbarian styles with the Theo, whatever that is, as a major inspiration. On the one standout feature of the At Bronte is the admiring intermissions room. How did you imagine a space using it? Everyday storytelling. We know the family's monarchy has a great thirst of power and contrast concern with elevating her family's prestige in society. Imagine the throne room as a place where Grant's audience and commoners take opportunities to develop in what is happening around the neighborhood, especially when it comes to her son's marriage, thus asserting her influence and manipulation and further strengthening her legacy. Then we have Eva, and Eva built the Belcourt Palace and the Vindemar Palace. So she is originally from Austria, and now she's based in London, and she's an interior designer and whatnot. And basically it says, what storytelling elements did you include in your build? So this is one of her builds, which is very pretty. It says both places are homes of very prestigious families who bring a lot of lore into the Sims 4 universe. I definitely wanted to ensure the different Sims personalities and traits reflected upon their palace. For example, the Cap household is very materialistic, snobby, and likes to exclusive with interiors by showing heavy gold accents and prominence. Delicate furnishings. As head of the family, Talbot likes to flaunt his wealth. The household of the Vindemar Palace, Condito and Lethio, couldn't be further from Caps. They're adventurous abbot collectors that love the sea. The whole color palette of this place is much darker, and the mood is heavy accent with teal and blue reflects the household of closeness to the sea. So this is that. And then it says, you built two beautiful palaces. How do they differ from each other? So it just says that the characteristics are different, both factored mainly in palaces. Now, Belcourt is very orderly, traditional romance element. Vladimir is more untamed and predictable, like the sea. Then it says, how do you integrate secret passageway into the palace? I really want the secret passageway to feel exactly that, secretive. It's meant but not easy to spot in not obvious places, but handy locations for the Sims who know. Since the passageway looks like old grandfather clock, they were easily disguised in a principal room where most Sims would just glance to check the time. Then we have Emerald Stories, and she built the Caso Consortos, the Fisherman Hut, and the Zabrina Market. And she's been playing The Sims for over 14 years, but she fell in love with The Sims 3. And here's one of her designs, more modern style for sure. It says, the Vindemar neighborhood is definitely fierce. How did the input of the aesthetic while keeping the calmer residents cohesive? There are 6 completely different versions of Casa Cordillos. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. All wildly different and complicated, but I stuck with the final design because I chose subtle chaos rather than outright havoc I had before. There are a few brown terrain marked parts on the ground fading out of the stone. All the walls are weathered, and the charm comes from the interior design. A moody regal feel with a personal muted grandeur from both the Vladimir and Dambley neighborhoods. And also that statue though, this house though, gorgeous. And then it says, how do you ensure the design capture the elegance of a fishing hut but still provide a cozy, livable environment? Colors and textures are everything. I want something that had to do with the air of the boathouse while not standing out too much. Similar to the commoner's house, it had to look convert, assuming it was simple. I went to the natural tones of the seas again, and then didn't veer much from the simplistic woods and snow. The market can definitely top career space of the community, while LCGs did you create a cohesive and inviting atmospheres that encourages community interactions throughout the market. I did not want there to be isolated areas, no full walls, no closed sofas, and barely any doors. I wanted the Sims to walk past the community and hear the conversation and to smell the food without barriers. This is possible. There is a fundamental connection West Africa homes that have with Earth, and I wanted this to also be in the apartment build. The roofs cover what need to be covered. I do not deny the Sims the sun. The walls are full of greenery, letting life assist in the material itself. So that's really fun. And then we have Studio Gabrielle, also Gab, and she designed the Ye Old Voyage, the Sankoff Resonance, and the hardcover. So Gabby is an interior designer who loves The Sims and began with the original game and has come full circle to her real life career. Here's one of her builds, which all these builds are gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this world and these builds. So on Ye Olde Voyager, the Vladimir bar used to be frequented by pirates. How do you even ensure that history was reflected in the build? I'm nicknamed the Old Sea is a rich maritime name. I wanted to ensure that the bar reflected from its history in both exterior and interior build. I wanted the exterior to be a nod to the old and the new, which is represented in the materials and structures from the windows to the doors along the sleek round glass, and the second floor. It pays homage on the modern seafarer navigation. On the interior, it was once frequented by pirates. I wanted to feel augmented extension from the pirate ship. Rich wood panels, walls, floor, ceiling material, and mix of furnishing and decor. So that was pretty. And this is totally different, but it's very interesting. I don't know. This is my least favorite build so far, but I don't hate it. And Sanford Son's residence in the Danbell is very luxurious. What element of luxury did implode this build? Danbell, though known for its sense of community, is very luxurious on the culture and environmental elements. To capture the luxury and beauty of this environment, implement is into the noble residence. I initially started with the fountain in the front, so this, of the home as the focal point and worked the shelf around that. I paired it with neutral limestone, geometric tiles, and columns. I wanted the structure to have a modern and visually interesting the shape that had varying heights, half walls, Danbell style doors and windows. Think modern occupants with West African influence. And then the final one says, The Sims team's hardcover library by day and nightclub by night. How did you create so two opposite ideas? So this is the build, I'm assuming. Yeah. And it says, the back room is such a cool concept because the library by day and the nightclub by night is very two different social environments. I want to ensure that the exterior of all the floors and the interior made sense together. I want the library to feel cozy, collaborative, and currently influenced, and the nightclub to be an extension of that, but with a posh movie vibe. Truthfully, I came up with several different ideas for the build because my mind went to several different directions where it could be taken, but I'm very happy with where I landed at the end. Structurally, I wanted the shape to be characteristic of the modern architecture through Danbell, but I also feel the historic as it's been there a long time. And just shouts them out again and tells when the pack is coming out. So there are some of the main builds that were built from the people that built for this world and the inspiration they got. And that's kind of all about the world we got, but then we also got information and backstories on the different dynasties, so basically all the different royal families. So there's 3 royal families that are spread through the 3 different neighborhoods. So it looks like it shows all of the families, not just the royal families. So we have the House of Thebes and the Abrance family in Vladimir. In Danbell, we have the Dargon family. In Bellicor, we have the House of Cap, the Monty family, and the Alto family. So let's go through the Thebes first. So Vladimir, built on secret and social power, a bustling harbor where nobles might heroic outlaws and fortune favors the bold. Vladimir thrives on traveling and whispers truth. The House of Thebes, master in the open sea. The great port of Vladimir is the House of the Thebes family, a cunning adventurous house known for mingling sims of all backgrounds, from nobles to outlaws alike. It's a head that Cordelia V, the House of Thebes, legendary navigator, the direct descendant of Cordelia. Like her ancestors, she is interpreted seafaring social with a taste of lavish gathering, astonishing riches, and complicated affairs. Cordelia's I famously took not 1 but 2 but 4 pirate lovers. From 2 of these unions came children, a legacy that helped shape Vladimir's splurt. So she is having royal affairs with pirates, which I think we saw in the trailer. The Abrance family abolished beneath donation. Cordelia's husband, Theos Abrance, is a devoted partner who loves her not for her status but who she is. While he enjoys the comfort of the noble life, he has interest in pursuing an undying crown and content in the world that shares the peace may endure the road. He learned of Cordelia's secret. Theo's mother, I can't pronounce that. is far less content. Power hungry and disappointed for Cordelia, she saw nothing to see the crown put on her son's head. Her teenage daughter Sophia is capable of outgoing, fierce, royal, and Theo. Aware of Cordelia's interfering, Sophia is weighing how to use this knowledge. This is the royal family, and this is the family that's trying to take over. And then we have the outlaws and shadows of Vladimir. Separate from the family's inner circle, Via Sos is a commoner who frequents the local pirate bar and harbors secrets of her home. Not only is Cordelia Shawi Parmar, she also Andoria's royal robber, a terrible burglar who bans outlaws, hidden stolen noble wealth across the kingdom. Oh, so there's a Pacific robber for this world. Interesting. And then we have Dargons. So this is Damdel, and this is like more African-based family. Damdel's values community of the arts over wealth and material excesses prizes by its neighbors. The familial secrets found throughout Ordania still whispers through its charming public gardens. So the Dargon dynasty. The Permont dynasty and the regal neighborhood belongs to the Dargon family, as astute traditionals who see themselves as philanthropic guardians of their people. The recently retired Grand Duke, I can't pronounce that, sits atop the family tree and hopes that his daughter, Ajar, will campaign on Dorian's throne on behalf of the entire family, an ambition the Grand Duchess of Dambly openly shares. And then the next generation. Jara has 2 children of her own, daughter Amici, an artistic teenager who actively champagnes Dambly's artistic traditions, and the son Obi, a son genius whose scholarly talents rival, if not surpass, those of his grandfather. A mysterious suitor. Through Jara's current lack of a partner in her pursuit of the crown, she has recently been courted by a mysterious newcomer, a pre-mint fencer, Akishi. I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Ajar weighs her move. Her father remains deeply skeptical of his intentions. And then we have the Amuna family, the artistic and the tricksters. A visit of Daniel would be incomplete without a stop at Xanapes Market, where you can highly encounter the elder artist Keen selling his handmade crafts. He is good-hearted but a bit mischievous, so only engage in fancy jokes or trick. Alright, so apparently there's a seller that's tricky. We have the Caps dynasty, so they are the family of Bellacord. So that's the person that looks like Bella. Oh, that's funny. They look like Bella Goth, but in Bellacord. Okay, I like that. Okay, chivalry in decline and excess on display. Neighboring hood in namesake Bellacord is land steeped in chivalry and knighthood, and has been since the place draped in access as wealthy and noble parade their own occupants. The House of Cap. No family embodies the contradiction more fully than the Caps. At the head of the house in Tabat Cap, a man enthralled by the noble life, the resilient strive to gain more power, though he only binds to the crown more immediate ambition to marry his 3 adult children into the status, cementing the unions in service of the dynasty. So the Cap's heir fracture line. The Cap heirs reflect Bellacor's internal fractures. Beatrice Cap, the eldest heir, apparent in admiration for her composure, style, and grace, though more often perceived as aloof even by high society standards, she secretly longs for deeper and more meaningful connection. Celeste, the middle child, reserves the ideal of chivalry but rejects her father's crude materialism, and Virgilo, the youngest, is openly rebellious. Disdainful of the noble life, an inquirer circle has murmured the connection of defacing the great Bellaston Accords statues, and then it says the Monty love family, love, scandal, and rivalry. So here's another family. It says the rivals to the Caps are the Monty, Juliet Monty, Tabat's disowned sister. So this is where the disowning comes in. Engulf the family in a scandal when she elopes with the commoner Romeo Monty through Romeo, an easygoing chef, a happy place in his pie. Juliet and Romeo quietly nurses resentments toward her brother and the nobilities that she lost. Their teenage son, Diney, is a good-natured goofball who sees beyond their rivalry and maintains a close secret friendship with his cousin Celise. So these are like the thrown out family of this family. Interesting. The last part of this says, a marriage as shortcuts to status. For those seeking a faster path to nobility, marriage can offer a tempting shortcut, not without trials. In Nuzos, a noble bachelor and his cousin Holly from Get Famous offers such an opportunity. The perks are royal and his personality not so much. So you can earn it through marriage as well. So that is all the like lore of the families and whatnot. I love how much lore is coming in this pack. I really hope it's super obvious in game. The last thing I wanted to end on when it came to the pack, so this is the last article on the pack and then we'll go to the laundry list, is I thought it was interesting. They put out an article that said how the players shaped the Sims 4 royalties and legacy expansion. I feel like they're trying to very much push the, you guys inspired this. This is how we came together and made this. So I just thought it was an interesting read. So I'm just going to read it real quick. Players collaboration has always been on the heart of The Sims. The Sims 4 Royalty Legacy Expansion Pack is no exception. Our player experience team worked closely with our players to test throughout the development. From the very beginning, your ideas, reactions, and feedbacks helped shape how this pack came to life. Today, we are sharing a closer look at how players have helped guide, inform, and support the Regal Expansion Pack, playing a key role from its early concept to the final playtest. And it says how players informed the theme. Research began a year ago after two passionate marketing team members, a longtime simmer, Chelsea and Lexi, pitched their modern royalty concept based on their listening and engagement in the Sims community. I think there was like a survey that was asking about this, and that's where they got this. And it says, with the support from Anna, the Sims creative director, the team incorporated the idea of their exclusion of various expansion pack themes as a part of a survey worldwide. We knew if we did royalty, we wanted to explore much more than we had before. We introduced the modern royalty theme in the survey. A strong positive response was from the players, helping it reinforce as the theme we pursue is upcoming expansion pack. Players were drawn to the modern royalty as a way to enhance legacy-driven storytelling, up the drama, and add power plays. This excitement also came with clear feedback. Players consistently emphasized the importance of depth. Nothing modern royalty would feel most compelling when supporting a dynamic system and interactions that meaningful expand how stories unfold. Once it became clear that the modern royalty resonated with players, our lead producer, alongside the design art team, began defining the pack through the early concepts and exploring. Early concepts exploration studies help us gauge how players felt about the team's early ideas, and design and teams use player studies to support many decisions, from helping to validate the features list and forming the directions of the feature designs. This pack was created with the players in mind every step of the way, the Sims 4 early producer said. One variation emerges as a clear focus of the drama between having status and responsibilities. It explores what it means to belong in a prestigious family, honoring or reshaping a legacy while navigating the weighty expression of the crown and a household. Results showed that players were most drawn to fantasy of legacy, status, and long-term family progression, which is pretty much what we got. And it says, designing stories you can make your own. As we continue to develop the pack using storyboards and mock-up designs in the player experience studies to further support and validate key gameplay features and feature priorities, early on some of the players expressed their desire for the touches of fantasy. The team knew from the feedback to prioritize power shifts, a system built around dramatic storybook moments to influence the Sims' ascendant into nobility or their downfall. Adding nuisance of how both your Sims and the world around them could respond was important to capturing the complexity of royal life. To support this, the teams designed dynasty and nobility systems as separate but complementary experience, allowing players and the freedom to engage with the team or independency. You rule your dynasty, you rule your world, or both. It's entirely up to you. we didn't want to lock players in a single narrative. Our goal was to always provide simmers with a system and mechanics to support a wide range of stories that felt right to them. We, in the mind that each player should engage with simulation in the way they prefer, says the Sims 4 lead game designer. Similarly, we wanted to make sure that players have plenty of ways to create originally messy and dramatic moments. From the scandal systems, the game recognizes, reacts, and remembers these misdeeds, like if your sim had an affair, a secret child, if it discoveries these scandals have undue consequences on your Sim's social, personal, and professional lives. And it says, building authentic worlds and neighborhoods together. We saw the opportunity to embrace the vast concept of royalty, an image a place where only people from different backgrounds intersected and coexisted, reflecting the diversity of our own community. West Africa was a fundamental influence throughout the vision, and getting it right meant incorporating diverse voices and perspectives into the process. With the fictional narrative, we aim to celebrate and pay tributes to the riches of West African aesthetics and coexist in Southern European influences, all while maintaining the utmost respect for both cultures. Our goal was to reflect how each has evolved in its meaningful and positive ways through different periods, remaining culturally valid influences alive up to the present day. And then they say each stands its own distinct beauty, identity, and lore while existing together harmoniously, which we just read all about. And then we also got a bunch of inspiration and like different background references from all of these different groups and whatnot of simmers that went through and studied and everything. And this is kind of just talking about that. And then it says refining the experience through playtesting. With all these features and blends of perspectives, it was time to put them to the test. Through playtesting, which players signed up through the Sims Labs, which there was an advertisement for that a while back, at the stage ensured gameplay was not only fan but also readily accessible and easy to understand. We made swift improvements, including clear tutorialization and better progression clues within the system, which I'm always glad to hear. At the end is the birth of an ambitious path rooted in legacy, where players reveal in chaos and concluded rule, good-hearted leadership, and everything in between. And then it says a kingdom built together, and it was just talking about the players that we just went through in the last article, talking about them and whatnot. That is everything that, from the point of me recording this, we have information on the pack. I feel like that was a good bit of information. Like I said, the trailer itself I felt like was clear on what we already knew, but didn't really give us any too much new information. But between these articles and all the questions on the Q&A on Discord, I feel like they gave us a lot of good information on this pack. I feel like between this video and the last video, we have pretty much almost all the information on the pack, besides like exactly how the gameplay will work by like watching it. I feel like they did a really good job explaining the pack. They gave really good lore on the families. I really liked how much inspiration they got and how much help they got with the world. I really think they put a lot into this pack. Now I'm just hoping that the gameplay is as impressive as the lore and the culture and the different sounding parts of the royal and dynasty type situations. So like basically I just hope the gameplay works as well as they're putting it through, because you know how they talk up expansion packs and they make them sound really good, and then, you know, like high school years, it just kind of doesn't work. But I'm really hoping that the glitches will be less than the actual fun of the pack, because I don't want the glitches to prevent the way this pack works, even though it probably will at first. It'll probably be a bunch of emergency fixes, but the concept of how they're saying this pack is going to work sounds really fun to me. I'm really excited about it. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is actually the laundry list, because we are going to have a new pack patch update on February 3rd, and this is kind of just giving the highlights of what is going to be coming in that patch update, and a lot of it's going to be in prep work for the new pack. I mean, it's coming out less than 2 weeks before the pack comes out, so I don't know if this is like the big patch update or if this is just the patch update for February and then we'll get another, but there is some adjustments being made for the pack in this patch update, so I wanted to just go through the laundry list real quick just to show what's coming up. So they started the article out by saying, "Hi Simmers, welcome to the Laundry List, where we share top community concerns that we are currently investigating and hope to resolve. If you're hitting crashes, infinite loading, or missing lots, please read about our post here, how you can share affected saves so we can gather critical information." So they're saying like, hey, share your save files here so we can learn more about these situations. And then they also have like the EA forums they'll probably be referencing to, where you can share what's happening and upvote things. Before we jump into this, let's just keep in mind they're saying this is what they're trying to work on, what they will probably have in the next patch, but it's not 100% guaranteed. We also just have to take it with a grain of salt, because a lot of times, like with the black photos, they say it's fixed and then it either is just not fixed at all or it just becomes worse, or it's fixed for a moment and then it comes back. So this is what they're trying to fix. We have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. And it also starts out by giving a form here that touches on how this update will affect mods, especially when it comes to legacy gameplay. So if you are a mod creator, they have that information for you there. And then it says, we have save file investigation update. Improving save file integrity continues to be a top priority since our dedicated investigators started in September, which I feel like since then they've been doing really good about giving us like monthly updates that fix problems. Like, I feel like they've been getting better. I will give them that. We delivered a preventative situation for a range of issues, both player reported and the ones we have identified through our investigation. We have also shipped improvements to core systems, like slowly rolling out changes to scratch files and rental cheats to support this work. So for remaining issues, we await further information from players experiencing them to be able to investigate further, and will continue to monitor any new reported issues. Now we shift our focus investigating to long-term prevention. With that, we will provide future updates via laundry lists instead of monthly standalone posts. These will change slips. They will clearly be called out in the patch notes, so you'll always know when something is directly related to the save stability has been addressed. This approach lets the team focus on durable fixes while keeping community clear at regular cadence. So here, next, we have the list of top community concerns we're investigating for our next update. So these are supposed to be in the next update. So it says, resolved issue that caused photos to turn black since the January 13th update. You mean the update that says that they were fixing the photos from turning black? Yeah. But it says, fixed a UI issue where Creative Sim was preventing elements from displaying in the turn-offs and turn-ons, as well as the like and dislike buttons. I just want options to stop glowing. Can we just make the options stop having a glowing circle around them? Fix an additional instance of an issue where entering and exiting build mode during scenarios with goals would cause UI to disappear or the game would become unresponsive. That's not. Adding mermaids or aliens in Creative Sim should no longer cause game crashes. Resolving an issue that could prevent room type assignments in build mode. That's a big one. Simple, scattered, and Master Chef staircases no longer have an extra board while pacing L-shaped stairs. Book covers for baking, wellness, and snowboarding, rock climbing, herbalism, and photography skills should no longer change when placed on a retail display. Fabrication and mixology skill books no longer have the same cover. And then resolved an issue where a nail set was causing a metallic effect to the entire body. We also are trying to resolve an issue where the Sims' great-grandparents incorrectly had romantic interactions available with the extended family members. Ew. We resolved an issue calling a nail asset to show lines in the upper arm. And we resolved an issue where the Sims didn't complete the dance with someone at the prom, preventing a gold event, which I am so glad they fixed that because I think I had to cheat that last time I went to prom. And then upgrade vacuums to now work off the grid loptite. And then we have updates on our top community reports issues. Our team continues to investigate other community concerns in the future fixes. So they're saying that this is like what they're hoping to fix soon, but not in this patch. We have disappearance of pets and horses in pre-made households, strangers in your conversation, which has been a problem since the beginning, and then animals stuck in disappearing in inventory, and then Sims excessively using objects, which has been a problem for a while. And then it just reminds you can go on the different places and report different community problems. So we are finally at the end of our video. I feel like it took us a little bit to get here, but there was a lot of information to go over, like a whole week's worth. And like I said, probably in my next video I'm putting out, we'll go over the new trailer that comes out for the dynasties and whatnot. I'm pretty excited to learn even more information. I'm hoping we're not getting just information we already learned in this video, but either way, I'll still make a video on it because it is a gameplay trailer. But if you made it this far into the video, I hope it made sense because it was a lot of information at once, but also I hope you found it educational and entertaining because that was the whole purpose. But for now, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right, bye!